Day off, got it in the heat, not in the shade, you don't have to be hiding in the bleachers. Same.
Antonio, you're getting ready to break now. Your first offseason as the head coach of the Raiders, got to see this whole process from beginning to the end today. How do you feel everything's gone so far?
Productive. Ask the coaches from the jump to put X's and O's to the side a little bit in off-season as we start up in phase 1 and 2 and get to know one another. Coaches on coaches, coaches to players, and then when players came in, players to players. Wanted to really build that chemistry, that continuity, that trust, accountability, communication that we talked about all off-season. I thought it went well. When we got on the grass, you can see the excitement, the passion, the love, the effort to play the game. I think the best part about the offseason, you're still in school. And it's in a sense, when I say you're in school, you're learning. There's been adjustments that the coaches have come up with. We have new staff, obviously, on offense. Defensively, we added some new pieces in the coaching staff. A lot of good ideas. And then you want to put it on the grass and see how it comes out and how it works with the players. And that's the best part about it, because now over the next 5 weeks, as Patrick Graham would say, you get in the lab. Luke, you get in the lab. Tom, myself, we get in the lab, and we make the adjustments necessary for what team we have now. Because when we first started in phase 2, we didn't even have a draft. We didn't have the rookie class. We didn't have all these other pieces. And then you put it all together and you see how it starts to gel. And your identity and your the look of your team starts to mold into what you want it to be.
We talked to Devontae yesterday, and he talked about setting realistic expectations for this time of year, the mini camp, but also setting high standards for yourself. What would you say are realistic expectations for this time, and what are the high standards you set for the players?
Yeah, the expectations is what I talked about. Get to know one another. It's about people first. We're in the people stage because we don't have pads on. We're out there playing 7-on-7. The standard never changes. It's to come to this building every day with a smile, with a purpose, to be the best version of yourself, and to build a team. Because we're going to do that in training camp. When we get the pads on even more and more, we get to know about each other physicality-wise. But I think we've done a good job of really taking the time and getting to know each other in this building. And I'm not talking about just the first floor, I'm talking about the second floor and the third floor. We've done a lot of things with team bonding. The guys have done a great job of doing things outside the building with one another. And then when we got on the grass, we've competed and done a good job of taking care of one another.
What are some of those team bonding activities that you think have been the most productive or brought you guys the closest together?
Probably the one next door. That was interesting to see. Good athletes, right? We got 1%ers of the world playing for the Las Vegas Raiders, but when they go over there and they put on their basketball shoes, some of them need to stick to their day job. Keep the cleats on, right? But it was good to see. We had a skills challenge, we had a 3-point contest, a knockout challenge, another shooting competition. Then we played some 3-on-3, and then saw the real hoopers. We got some real hoopers on this team, but and we got some guys that can hoop. We got a lot of guys that David Buster's probably needs, they need to see David Buster soon. But it was cool to really see these guys compete, get to know one another, mix up the teams, offense, defense, special teams. Put all those guys together and just let them go at it with one another.
We talked to a lot of the assistants the last few weeks, and a lot of them have mentioned how you've empowered them as assistant coaches to kind of lead their rooms or whatever their responsibility may be. Why was that something that was important for you to do, kind of taking over as head coach?
Yeah, because I can't do everything. I can't be in every room. Just like right now, we got meetings going on. I can't be in there. But it really started with our staff, having them present for the entire staff different projects, both offense versus defense versus offense, and special teams. Getting some of our younger coaches to speak up and talk. As you can see, we hired a really good staff, and it's a lot of us, 29 coaches to be exact. And there's a lot of knowledge there. And it's a shame that if we don't share that knowledge, not just to the coaches, but to our players. So I want to make sure that they know that their voice can be heard, they can speak, but at the same time, there's a time and place, and everybody knows their role. But I'll be a fool not to have the gentleman that I brought in this building speak and have that empowerment to talk to the players and vice versa.
You did a interesting thing in assembling your staff AP of older guys with a ton of experience, younger guy with very little. Was that intentional on your part to mix that up the way you did?
Yeah, just because of time, technology. You think Marvin Lewis can go there and go crazy on that computer and Rob Ryan and Joe Philbin? No. Then you got some guys that, straight out of college and some younger guys coming from the college ranks and other places that are really tech savvy. Then you got guys that've been head coaches, coordinators at different levels and been in different systems. And some systems that we really studied over the last 2 years prior to me taking over. Look at a guy like Robbie Leonard with Baltimore, and then Gerald Alexander with Pittsburgh. You talk about guys that came from organizations and places that play football the right way. And the more intel and people you can grab from those places, the better we are. And more importantly, good people. And I think for all of us, and I talk about it, we always say we got to coach the players, but coaches need to be coached. And when you have the expertise of a Marvin Lewis, a Joe Philbin, the years of a Rob Ryan, which I'm sure was an entertaining conversation yesterday with you guys, man, how can you pass that up? And I'm really excited that they want to be here next to myself and the rest of our staff because they can do other things. Right? Does Marvin Lewis really need to coach? Not really. Joe Philbin, not really. Rob Ryan, they've been on the game 30 plus years, all those gentlemen. So to be in the meeting room and just to hear them talking, not just always to myself, but to a receiver coach, or to our young offensive assistant, whoever it may be, just for them to drop that knowledge is critical. And then at the end of the day, you want to see these guys prosper and get an opportunity someday to either be in my position or a coordinator or have their own room.
How much do you think? Maybe a small sample size, but what have you thought of the quarterbacks in terms of them trying to pick this up?
Pick up the offense?
Yeah, and just the competition between.
Oh, I think they embrace the competition. It's great. The best part about it, it's a friendly competition. And when I say friendly, we shake hands and kiss baby. When we go out there, we're trying to both be the guy, and you love to see that. And our team sees that. And I said this probably early on in offseason. When you have competition, some people see competition at the quarterback position as like, oh my God, we're scared. No, I love it. Because the rest of our team are looking at them. So what does everybody else on our team have to do? They have to compete. And what we now have is competition throughout our entire roster. There's competition in the running back room, that defensive line room. There's some boys in there. There's some grown men in there that can play football. Not gonna be able to keep all of them. Our linebacker room, our DBs. There's some guys here that's really seeing the competition at quarterback has risen the level of competition overall on our team.
How much do you think being a former player, especially at a high level, has really helped you connect with the players?
Connect, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, playing at a high level, I think that gives me the respect and the accountability that I can talk to them. They know I'm not BSing them. But they also know I'm not going to BS them, period, as a person. And we talk straightforward, we're direct. There's no gray. It's nobody say black and white, it's silver and black here. And they really do a good job of asking questions. When I'm talking, we get the eye contact, get the head nod. Different people speak throughout, have spoken throughout this offseason. I don't need to wear out the voice. I'm going to speak starting July 23rd a lot and a lot more. They know my intent. They know my purpose. They know why I'm here, and they know I'm here to help them. And I'm their biggest fan, but they also know I'm their realest critic. And when it gets real, they're going to hear it direct.
Coach, there's been a lot of emphasis on special teams throughout the course of practices, and Coach McMahon was pretty fired up about the opportunities. What have you seen so far from that opportunity?
Yeah, I'm not doing no demonstrations like Coach McMahon, but I really want to put emphasis on it. First of all, we got some really good specialists between AJ and Daniel. We couldn't be blessed to have those two difference makers there. But obviously with the new rule, right? And it's a learning curve for all of us. We had the officials out here from the National Football League, and they were wide-eyed because nobody's seen this live yet. It looks good in practice, but that first preseason game, I think everybody needs to tune in for that opening kickoff to see what's about to happen because there's a lot of different variables that could go into it. And we said how it's being officiated, what different special teams coordinators are coming up with ideas. So I really want to emphasize it. But more importantly, we talked about this earlier, the development of this off-season program for me was our younger players and our special teams guy, because that's going to be the core group of our team. You know what Devontae's going to do. You know what Max Crosby's going to do and Christian Wilkins. But we need to give the guys that's going to make this team on special teams more opportunities to showcase that and give Tom the time to teach.
Adaptation has been a big part of your career, from going from Mount Sac, your journey to the league, and then after league media, you coach at different levels. Where do you get that ability to adapt so easily?
Part of my upbringing, just kind of how I grew up, where I grew up at. Being only child, defending for yourself, finding different ways to get out of situations. But then more importantly, just having the right people around me. Even when I made bad decisions, you always had that one person that was trying to lead you the right way. And I think my professional career kind of really formed me a lot, right? When I got to Washington Commanders, 3 head coaches, 4 D coordinators, 4 linebacker coaches, 4 strengths, conditioning guys. Every year was something new language. But I never stopped my number one goal, my number one purpose to play football and to play at a high level. And then I went to New York, and stability, continuity, what it looked like to win, what pro football looked like from other pro players, that all helped me out. And at the end of the day, it's like what I want here, when you have those veterans, like I had as a rookie with Darryl Green, Bruce Smith, Jesse Armsteads of the world, they helped mold me to be the player and to train, to study, to prepare to be a professional football player. And that's something that I really believe in, and that's reflective in our staff.
Antonio, see you spending a lot of time with the offense during OTAs and these last 2 days of minicamp. And I'm curious, from your vantage point now, seeing an offense being installed and being on that side of the field and being in on those meetings, how that process has gone, literally learning a new system from ground zero.
Yeah, this is a good part because I really do take off my coach's hat and I become a player. And how it's being taught, how it's being presented, how is it coming across? Are we being repetitive? Are we going too fast? Are we changing it up? Are we using all the resources that we have in this building to teach and learn? It's been very good because I can actually put myself in their shoes. But more importantly, when we have those staff meetings at night or in the morning, things that we talk about and seeing our different assistant coaches talk, like we talked about empowering them earlier, I think it's been critical for all of us because having one voice talk all the time, installing it can get boring, right? But when you change up and you got a guy like Luke Stecker that comes in and got a lot of juice, a lot of energy, then you get James Craig and he's all wiry and it's like, goddamn, so you bounce the ball, then you got Cadillac and you got that southern draw, you slow it down. So now these guys are on their toes. It's not just sitting there and you get bored, right? Because at this time of year, again, it's voluntary. So to see those guys in there and just to have that attention span was really critical for me. And obviously that's why I'm sitting here to make sure we're getting it the right way.
Hey, Pete,
there's
Deion.
no fast forward button that you can push to make this thing a finished product yet. What is your assessment of where the offense is right now in terms of the install? And it seems like there's a little ways to go, obviously.
Yeah, it is because we still got training camp, so that's a good part. This is what I would say, and I know it might come up in another question. I don't think the offense is behind. I think the offense is where every team that has a new offensive coordinator and head coach is at right now. I don't think I've ever heard a team say, man, the offense is way ahead of the defense right now in June. It's normally the opposite. It's always the defense is ahead of the offense. What I think our guys are doing a good job is Luke, Gatsy, and that offensive staff, they've thrown everything at the guys. Got the playbook. Just asked him today, hey guys, is everything in? Luke, everything in? He shook his head. Yes, it is, AP. Okay, cool. So now that's what we use the next 5 weeks. We get together as a staff, we get back in training camp. Okay, less is more. I live in that world, less is more. Who are we? What is our true identity? We'll figure that out more in pads. But I think when you give the volume, and anywhere, you don't care what office you're with, it's going to be some ups and down days. It's the learning curve. Do you remember 3 years ago with us, with Patrick Brown? It wasn't pretty. Look where we're at today. So one of our pillars is process. And I told our guys, don't get frustrated, just trust the process. And I know it's repetitive, it's a cliche deal, but it's true. Just trust the process. And again, it's on us as coaches to take out the things that we just can't get right. But it's also up to you as players to get it right. To study the playbook, right? To come back July 23rd, more dialed in, more focused, more of an understanding of what to expect, what the calls are, go to vocabulary. That's your job. You're a pro football player. You come prepared come July 23rd. I think you'll see growth as we go to training camp.
Go Hondo, Heidi, and the Paul.
DeAndre spoke about, respect for your career, but the fact that the way you fathered him was what he was proud of. Father's Day coming and your family's so valuable. What's that mean to you?
Yeah, it's cool. Fortunate to be an only child. I'm also fortunate to have a lot of children. And when I played, I had DeAndre at 18 years old, okay? So, sophomore year of college, you got a son. I'm chasing my career goal, and there was a lot of things I missed, right? There's a lot of graduation, performances, practices I couldn't take him to. And I didn't want a chance that when I got older and I finished playing that I miss those again. DeAndre's done a good job throughout his life of high school, playing college football, tried the pros, got into coaching. Listen, opportunity came up, you put him on the staff, you put him at the bottom of the list, make him, do the simple things, the hard things he's not comfortable with. You know, they're coaching O-line, getting the hell beat out of him by goddamn Jackson. Getting him thrown out the club. Like, goddamn, don't hit him, he's a DB, but it's okay. But the cool part about it, man, Father's Day coming up, and for all our coaches and all the fathers out there, there's nothing like that relationship. As fathers, we get beat up a lot, right? Now, by being here, I wasn't a deadbeat dad. I was always there for my son, and I'm proud of where he is. I'm proud of all my children. And I'm just proud of really the man that we have in this building, because I think we got some excellent men in this building, and happy Father's Day to everybody going forward.
Coach, I was curious, yesterday Christian Wilkins spoke about how Max Crosby brings up his level of play. I'm wondering how Max's gas tank challenges Thayer Munford, what you've seen out of his development with Max on the other side of him.
That's a great competition every day to go against Max and Christian right over there. If I could just hit a little bit on Max and Christian, I think the best thing and the greatest thing for the Raiders, what we're seeing is two alpha competitors compete in everything. And that just goes back to the question earlier about quarterback competition. These guys are competing in everything. First one to get off the rock. First one to win the individual drill. First one to run from the jungle gym all the way to field one. I mean, everything's a competition. So what is happening with our team? Everybody's following. Everybody's now leading. When I first got here, it was a Max Crosby show. Fanboy Central. Wave your hands. And it was Max and the band. Well, now it's Max Crosby. Well, you know what? It's the Raiders running across the field. It's what you're seeing, and what you're seeing on the other side of the ball is guys competing. Everything I talked about in every phase. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Mini camp competing. I get training camps competing. It's Raiders versus Raiders until we get to week 1 of the preseason and week 1 of the regular season. The Raiders are going to be not the best of friends when we get to training camp. It's not going to be pretty. It's going to be ugly. I'm sure it's going to be violent. And then we'll love one another and we'll do it against somebody else. But Max Crosby going against Munford is going to do nothing but make Munford a better player. Every day you're seeing a guy that's coming at it. Munford can't have a bad day. Can't have a bad rep because I'm not slowing Max Crosby down. Not doing it. I told her staff, not doing it. Dude just walks around and bounces. Not going to do it. Munford's going to see that in real life when we go against other really good defensive ends in the National Football League. So to get those repetitions each and every day, give or take 50 to 60 snaps per practice, I mean, hopefully that speeds up the development and the growth with him and make us a better team.
Tony, we already know what Devontae Adams can do. It's been documented. But when you look at the rest of that room, how good can that receiver room be for the Raiders this year?
There's two guys I'm going to point out, and obviously the obvious ones, but one guy really stood out this offseason, Trey Tucker. Different dude. He looks different, acts different, runs different, catches the ball different. Don't look at the size. Don't mention that. Watch him play. He's the biggest guy out there. He had a hell of an offseason. Came back right after the offseason program, Super Bowl, and got in here and started working and was here every day. Blazer, we know about the speed, but everything that we talked about working on, he took that to another level. And you can see the look in his eye of a confident player, of a guy that just want to constantly get better. He's pushing. And the guy that's right next to him, who, I get it, because you have Devontae, these guys kind of get pushed in the background. Jacoby. Jacoby is that guy. When you say, I need a dog, Jacoby's a dog. Jacoby's an alpha. Jacoby is fearless. Jacoby works probably as hard as any player on our team. And his commitment, and you saw this last year, his commitment in the run game speaks volumes. Because he could be easily a 100 reception, 1,000-yard receiver. But it's all those other things. It's those crackback blocks. It's those hits on the DN, the linebacker, getting his nose bloody, rolling up his sleeves, flexing on guys, setting the tone. His energy and presence might not say a lot, and you guys know him. He's kind of real slick and sly with his words. But when he speaks, you better listen, because he's got some substance behind him. So those two guys are really taking a really good jump for us. It's been really good to see, because we're not going to win this game with one person. We're going to win this game as a collective group, at the wide receiver core, the tight end, running back, and the quarterback. It's not on just one guy. If we're going to win or lose by that, and these guys have really bought into the team aspect that it takes all of us to do it. I always talk about our superheroes putting on their capes. I told the guys today, hey, the superheroes need some other guys to put some more capes on. We need some more capes in that room. And it's okay for Big Mike to step up. Brock Bowers, I don't care about a rookie. We're going to go. When he's ready to go, we're going to let him go. Right? Alex Madison, Zamir White. Amir. We got a lot of guys this offseason who have really relished in the role of competing and taking on that sense of ownership. Like, I'm not going to wait for something to happen. I'm going to go make it happen. And that's the difference I see in our team overall.
Let's go Vic, Allen, and then Kevin.
What's the next step for Zamir? You mentioned Zamir. What's the next step for him this year, being the guy, and kind of what you got to do to kind of take that next level?
Well, I think with anything, right? Let's say he's running back A or B, however you want to look at it. It's just the physical demand of playing that position for 17 games, right? Let's say he's up in the 200, 300 carries. I don't know. But let's just say he's up there. That's going to be the most he's had in a long time. So how he take care of his body, what he does over the next 5 weeks. You saw when he came in this offseason. Well, he looked right. He was built right. He's a strong, powerful man. But then also just understanding that just because you got the job now that it can't be taken. Alex Madison, really good football player. And that's why I'm going to keep going about our team. These guys got to step up, but it's just not on Zamir. It's everybody. And Cadillac has done a really good job of really pushing competition, pushing those guys. And listen, you have a bad play, next man up mentality. So Zamir understands this, so don't get comfortable. And I think he's done a really good job with that.
Well, you brought up Cadillac. Actually, I was going to ask you about him. How did you hook up with him? How did you get him on the coaching staff?
Yeah, 2005, we played against each other when he was a rookie. Played him several times throughout his career. Interesting, when I was the head coach at Poly, we did an NFLPA game together. We were on the same staff. Saw him work there. I think that was 2013 or 14. And then just watching college football, saw what happened at Auburn. And to be honest, thought he was still there on staff. And then obviously, we was looking at different coaches at that position. Kind of got a text from somebody like, "Hey, did you say about Cadillac?" I'm like, "No, he's coaching at Auburn. Isn't he get the head coach job?" I remember something of that nature. We spoke on the phone, and it was a no-brainer for me, man. Like, he was a hard worker, he was a grinder, he was a gritty guy. Obviously, that backfield he had out of Auburn, he had Brandon Jacobs as a freshman, Ronnie Williams, and then Cadillac. Yeah, it was Ronnie, right? Ronnie Williams, I believe. And then Cadillac. And those guys, man, they played the game the right way. They were physical, they were tough, love ball, gritty guys. And I thought really at that running back room, because that room is so unique now in the National Football League, how it's being evaluated and the pay scale, that you need somebody in there that can really just not talk ball with them, but talk off the field football with them and understanding what it is and the ups and downs of playing running back in the National Football League.
As you cut the players loose this week, what's your message for the expectations you have for them for the next few weeks before training camp begins?
Good. I told them to decompress, remove themselves, because we had a really good job with attendance. We did a really good job with attendance this off season. I said, hey, use the next 2 weeks just like I'm gonna do. I'm gonna unplug. So if you don't have WhatsApp, don't hit me up. And I said, come that second week of July, you need to turn up the heat a little bit. Get that water in that pot, start to simmer. But I said one thing we can't do is we can't start over on the 23rd and 24th. We're not going backwards. So it is on you to come in here in the physical shape. It's on you to be ready mentally and emotionally, but more importantly, understand the playbook, because we're going forward with whoever can understand the playbook. It's not about draft pick, it's not about money, it's not about status. We're going with the guys that put in the time and commitment to do what we want to do over the next 6 months. And that's just do one thing and one thing only, win. And I want winners. Winners never stop working. You can decompress, but I didn't say you stop working. So we got to find a way to that. And I just told them when they come back, kick in the front door, let's get this bad boy rolling.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, everyone.
You guys have a
Thanks,
good
sir.
one. Happy Father's Day, 12/5.
Yeah.